السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us on this really blessed day of Jum'ah, Jum'ah Mubarakah, a blessed day, the second Jum'ah in Ramadan, which is still the first 10 days of Ramadan. We are in the first third. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower us with His rahmah. Awwaluhu rahmah. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers down His mercy, we ask Allah to allow us to progress in the month of Ramadan in the best of spirit, in the best of faith, in the best of practice, in the best of acceptance by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, inshallah, in this short virtual khutbah, I wanted to share something that the first community of this beautiful tradition, how did they establish themselves? And I wanted to share, inshallah, 2-3 verses from the Quran that talks about the fadila of the Sahaba, the companions in general, but it actually categorizes them into two different Muhajirin and the Ansar. It's from Surah Al-Hashr, well-known surah, well-known ayats. You have heard it perhaps before, but I want us to just kind of internalize some of the characteristics of the Ansar, the helpers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the فَيْ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ الَّذِينَ أُخْرِجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ وَأَمْوَالِهِمْ يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانًا وَيَنْصُرُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ والذين تبوأوا الدار والإيمان من قبلهم يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون والذين جاءوا من بعدهم يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. These 3 verses talks about, the first one about the Muhajirun, the immigrants from Mecca who came from Mecca to Medina, including our Prophet ﷺ. And the second verse, it talks about the Ansar. And the third verse is basically talking about the rest of the people. That includes us. But there's something that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, and why did He talk about the Ansar and then the Muhajirun, and talked about some of the characteristics. Let's look at them. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention them? It's for something for us to learn, and something for us to take on and to imitate some of their beautiful attributes. So the Muhajirun الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم, their struggle. Most of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Muhajirun is their struggle, that they have been taken out of their homes, have been driven out of their homes, including our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا. They only seek Allah's pleasure and His acceptance, and that's it. They don't do anything. They don't go through all of those difficulties just because it's something that they have been put into, but they do it with an open heart. And the third characteristic, يبتغون فضلا وينصرون الله ورسوله. The third characteristic is that they help Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now that third characteristic of the muhajirun, the immigrants, is transferred then into the attributes of the ansar. And if you look at the three attributes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about from the perspective of the ansar, He then also mentions three things, but three of them are very related to one another. In the muhajirun, of course, their level and their status, we cannot compare that to anyone. We cannot even compare the ansar with the muhajirun. That's not our job. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to judge. But I want to talk about the ansar, the helpers. And from that perspective, if you look at it, that this verse talks about three characteristics, and let's look at them. وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ. That those who have established themselves prior to the people of the immigrants coming to Medina, where they already established themselves, they already were ready to build the first masjid, Masjid al-Quba, which will be the landmark of the first masjid, awwalu masjid, the first masjid that was built on piety. And that was the job of the companions, that the first thing that the Prophet ﷺ wanted to build was a masjid, so that people connect with the masjid, people can socialize, socially be connected with one another with the masjid, through the masjid, by the masjid. And also a sense of giving them responsibility that everyone, it's a teamwork. Let's all work this out together. Let's all build this together. Even including the Prophet ﷺ, he was bringing stones with his own bare hands and was placing them. So he participated, and with the companions and with the community, that was the first community that he established. And then he never broke his ties with that place. Even after moving to Medina, which is now kind of included within the city, but back then Quba was another place outside of Medina. Medina was just a existing building where the masjid is right now. That was the whole city. The Prophet ﷺ used to travel to Quba. It's a half-hour walk if you were to walk. The Prophet ﷺ kept that connection. He would go and meet them and meet those people. He never forgot them. He never forgot people, his own people, those, especially those people who supported them. How did they support the Prophet ﷺ? The first thing is that يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ, that they love those people who come to their lands, those who immigrate to their lands, those who migrate from different places and came to Medina. They, with open arms, they welcome them. And that's how we, as communities here in America, as we know, with تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, there were people way before a lot of Muslims who started to come in the 20th century, late 20th century. There were Muslims 2, 3, 4 centuries ago that they were already there, already here in these lands, long time ago. So they established themselves, تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ, that they already had that faith, and they have books that it was written here in these lands in Arabic language. So the foundation was already there, and the muhajirun came in, and now ansar are those people who already are there. Now they're helpers. So we could take on some of the characteristics of the muhajirun, of course, but the ansar, yuhibbuna man hajara, they like people who came to their lands. They love them. They're openly support them, help them out. If they are in need, if they are in trouble, if they have any financial situation, they will help them, helping them. يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا. Now, when you are helping people, there is a sense of giving and a sense of kind of ownership of what's going on in this situation and the environment and the land and everything that this whole place encompasses of, they would never want something back in return. Normally, you would want some kind of a recognition. You want some sort of thank you note, some sort of acknowledging that, hey, we did what we did. لا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا. They never wanted anything back in return. They gave and they gave and they gave to give. That's a level of leadership, give to give. ويؤثرون على أنفسهم. The hardest part, يؤثرون, they gave preference, other people over themselves. They gave other people, they gave preference to other people. They helped other people, even though they were in desperate need. And there are so many examples of that. So many examples of that. There's one particular story that the Prophet ﷺ, after coming back from a particular ghazwa, from a particular expedition, and a lot of wealth was acquired, and the Prophet ﷺ gave it to a lot of the leaders and those who were new to Islam and those, who really needed it. The Prophet ﷺ did not and neglected this Ansar, those helpers. And at that moment, they felt something. After all, they were human beings. They felt something that, why those people? They just came yesterday. We were here forever. We have been helping out for a long time. It's not about getting something, it's just that why we were neglected. So they felt that negligence on the side of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So the leader came to them, and the Prophet ﷺ sensed that, and he asked them, and he said, what's happening? And the Prophet ﷺ said to gather them, bring them. And the Prophet ﷺ asked them, and the Prophet ﷺ acquired and questioned them that what's going on? And the Prophet ﷺ said that, didn't I come to you guys when I was in desperate need? The Prophet ﷺ is showing how he needed these people, how much he was attached to them, and how grateful he is to the Ansar. That the Prophet ﷺ said, I was in difficult time and you gave us shelter, including the other Sahaba who came. And we had no place and you gave us a place. We had no social aspect, and we had that difficult times, and you gave us the support that we needed. And the Prophet ﷺ was asking them, he acknowledged what they have done. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he asked them, he said, why aren't you answering me? Can someone answer me? I'm asking this question. Didn't you guys do that? He wanted them to say, perhaps, that, yeah, of course, that's what we did. That's who we are. Thank you so much for acknowledging us. No, that's not what they said. They said, Al-mannu lillahi wa rasuli. Al-mannu, the Prophet said, Ala tujibun, aren't you answering? Why don't you answer me? He said, they always answered, Al-mannu lillahi wa rasuli. All praises due to God and his messenger. We're not taking any credit for that. That's how the Sahaba were. That's how the Ansar were. And the Prophet ﷺ, then he said this historic word. He said, aren't you happy that these people take wealth and taking goats and sheep to their tents, and you're taking the messenger of Allah to your places? O Sahaba, O Ansar, you are my inner garment, if the rest are like my regular garment. Meaning that you are so close to me, as the inner garment, it's touching your skin, it's the closest to you. O Ansari, you are my garment. And then the Prophet ﷺ told them that this will continue. It's not ending here. After I die, people will give others preference over you. Just be patient, and you will meet me on the Hawd al-Kawthar. They were given this great title of Ansar because they were helpers. They helped and they gave and they supported regardless. And that's something that is very, very apparent until this day, even when you go today to Madinah al-Munawwara, the city of our Prophet ﷺ, that the remnants of those companions, those Ansar, that were ready to give up their houses, their family, their wealth for the people, to help out people. So in Ramadan, this is the time to be generous. This is the time that the Prophet ﷺ was very generous. And of course, there are so many other initiatives and so many other programs that are out there. We want to be from those who are supportive and those who are helping and those who are giving, and also acknowledging those people who have been here before, the Ansar, especially those who have now have gone into old age, and they're not that able to support as they would and they have done in the past. Always remember them in your du'as. Be thankful, show gratitude to them. Be thankful to them. They're the ones who established these places, especially our older folks, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless them and to preserve them, and those who have left on to the next world, especially our ancestors, those who came here in the early days of Islam many centuries ago. May Allah bless them. May Allah bless them and bless their progeny, and resurrect us with them on a day of judgment with our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that we can also be from those who are called the Ansar, the helpers, and we do not brag about it. We are only thankful to Allah that He has given us the ability, He has given us this wealth, and He has given us the ability to spend, and He has inspired us, and He has given us this thought that I am able to give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in general, when you are giving your zakat, also be generous as the Prophet ﷺ was generous in the month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us in the second Jum'ah of Ramadan, and to bless our community, and to bless all of our supporters and donors and helpers and well-wishers and all those who helped in any way, even those who helped cleaning up the parking lot, and those who helped feeding the people during the month of Ramadan, and those who helped out in any way, even making dua for the center. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all of you, to bless your families, bless your progeny, and oh Allah, give shifa to all those who are sick in our community, especially Brother Balwala, who has been afflicted with a health condition, and that he's heard that he's having a procedure today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him shifa, give him speedy recovery after his procedure. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him well-being and give his family members patience. Give Dr. Sahil, his father, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him shifa and afiyah. And many of our community members who have been asking him, especially our Dr. Naveed Aslam, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him recovery. Although he's recovering, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give shifa to all those who are sick in our community. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim tasliman kathira. Jum'ah mubarakah. There's an announcement.
جزاك الله خير Sheikh Abdurrahman. Just a quick announcement. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. Very useful and valuable reminder, Sheikh Abdurrahman, and very relevant for our announcement. So just a reminder to everyone on the line, we have the Islamic Center of New England's Ramadan fundraiser tomorrow, inshallah, at 8:15 p.m. In addition to our two beloved Imams, we have a strong lineup of Sheikh Abdul Nasir Jinda, Sheikh Yasir Fahmi, Sheikh Tahir Anwar. And we do ask, as the Sheikh said, I know we're going through, a lot of the community is going through a tough time, but we do ask you to support the center, inshallah. The links are on there. So I do request that the links are actually open now, although the fundraiser is tomorrow. So please click on the links and start your donation right now. Don't wait for it, don't delay it. No one knows what will happen tomorrow. Just click on the links, whether you're on Zoom, you can find it in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, we're all in the comments. Just click on it, donate generously to the masjid, inshallah. And just a quick reminder, Allah tells us, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. The people that actually give in the sake of Allah when it's easy and when it's hard. And we know that the community is going through a lot of hardship, but that's also the time where the message is going through hardship, and we need to continue to support our Islamic institutions, and we need to continue to support our message, inshallah. And as the Sheikh reminded us, we're in Ramadan, and the deeds are multiplied from all of us, and we ask Allah to bless us and increase us and give us more than what we donate, and multiply folds and folds and accept from all of us, and make our intention pure to Him. Again, I leave you with a quick thought to please click on the link right now, don't delay it, and start your donation now. Everything is open. وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.